Welcome back to the channel. Let's explore together. Today we're checking out Fox News versus MSNBC cartoon rap battle featuring Hannity, Maddow, and Kanye. Yeah, so I'm just looking at this. This is 6 minutes long, 6.5 minutes long. Dear God, I feel like this is gonna be cringe. But why am I reacting to it? Well, that's a good question. Glad you asked. I'm reacting to this because you guys requested it. If you want me to react to something that I otherwise would not click on the thumbnail of or even think to acknowledge, go to my website. Links are in the description below and persuade me to do so. So let's just see what this is. Political cartoon cringe. This reminds me of like Jib Jab. Do you remember that in the early internet days? This kind of cartoon sort of thing. Political cartoons on the internet. Boomer humor. But maybe the art style and concept is deceiving and this is gonna be a gem. Not optimistic, but let's go.
Welcome to the Sean Hannity Show, Elections 2020. Who could possibly give Trump a run for his money? He's so far ahead, it's hard to see him from a distance.
Where is this? This is from before the election. It's before Biden and Trump. So it's not even that topical. Even better, sending me non-topical political humor. It definitely has Jib Jab energy to it, if you know those cartoons. And I don't say that as a compliment. Let's just put it that way.
Squinting looking for competition to his 2020 vision.
Thanks for tuning in with me to MSNBC, a bunch of...
Now this person, I don't know who they are. I recognize some of the other names clearly from the color palette and everything. This is a liberal talking head, where some of the others were conservative talking heads. Right? I'm assuming. Anyway.
Dems, 3 Republicans, 1 presidential seat. How can a patriotic right give Trump respect at all when he's just the last piece of a Russian nesting doll?
Rachel, I'm tired of your insanity. Trump is a doll? Let's have this out right now, once and for all. Let's debate this upcoming election. I've got time. Assemble your best crew, cause I've got mine.
Trump is going down. I have a list full of guests.
The levels of cringe coursing through my veins at both the beat and the attempts at impersonations and raps. It's palpable. It's probably visible. I assume this is meant to be humorous, but there haven't been jokes yet. So that's problematic.
Comedians, news guys, political reps. Live and direct, no more subliminal threats. Now we'll show you what we mean by the liberal left.
All right. Anyway, let's. I think that was trying to be a joke or a punchline, maybe. I'm trying to see who these people behind them are. On the left side, I see what looks to be Bernie. I don't know who that person is right below Bernie, right here. I think this is probably a good thumbnail. It's all bright color. Let's just get that out of the way. Anyway, I see Whoopi Goldberg. Is that Colbert? He's more moderate than he is liberal. If that's supposed to be Stephen Colbert, I wouldn't really consider him part of the liberal left. He's a lot more on the moderate side of things. I don't know who this is, or this looks like Putin. I don't know who this is. Motherfuckers. And who's on the conservative side? This is Tucker Carlson. This is obviously Hannity because they introduced him. And that's all I know on this side. Unless this is trying to be Ben Shapiro because of the squinting. But there's no yarmulke. There you go. That's what I've figured out so far from the art style. This is great.
All right, a little help for my friends? Go get them.
It's Fox and Friends, up like the economy lately. Our guy Trump...
This beat is so damn boring for this concept. The most generic 90s styled battle beat they could have thought up or purchased. There was no attempt made to make the beat interesting for the concept. It feels like it was made by white dudes who kind of know that rap exists And this is what they think it sounds like.
Trump's looking sturdy where Obama was shaky.
The radical left is talking communist crazy.
Bunch of clowns in the ring like Barnum and Bailey.
That was trash. I'm
Yes,
tagging
it
in
was.
Whoopi.
Y'all got
In any case, there's still no real jokes. Conceptually, this is talking about, I'm assuming, the insanity of the left versus the right. It's just doing it in a very annoying way. God, we're only a minute in. Shit, I should have brought alcohol.
Friend didn't name me yet, no one really likes you. I'm so sick of the right's views, the people need the right view. You never call Trump out, the way that you play it safe. Like Area 51, scared to alienate your base.
Whoa, you're making allegations you really need to stop, though. We're a news outlet that views a daytime talk show.
You call yourself a news network? For Fox's sake, it's no meme when I ask. What does the Fox say?
Bro. Fucking. Bruh.
I love Trump's articulate tweets, despite negative press covfefe. It's almost like he could do this in his sleep. Here's a clip of the week of somebody who looks like an orange getting impeached.
Stephen Colbert telling us who's not presidential, go back to where your act belongs.
All right, that is supposed to be Ben Shapiro. It doesn't sound like Ben Shapiro, and he's not even wearing his yarmulke. Well, I do a better Ben Shapiro, I know that much.
On Comedy Central. If you want a safer Middle East, you better vote for Donnie. He'll take out the other candidates like he did Soleimani.
And if you want evidence of that fact, search subpar rap battles of YouTube, Ben Shapiro versus Eric Cartman. You're welcome.
Trump will win in 2020. I mean, look at the economy. It'll be like taking candy from a socialist wannabe.
No, I mean, he didn't win, and the economy tanked afterwards. Biden is I would say Biden's the worst president of my lifetime, and I survived 2 Bushes. But Trump's up there with one of the worst as well. I don't know if Trump is as bad as Bush Sr. or Bush Jr.'s second term. That's kind of the debate in my head. I think there was enough net gain, net positive to like the daily life of myself as a citizen to kind of pass on a lot of the other stuff. But he's definitely bottom tier right there with Biden. So we had crap and crap. If you want to know who the best president of my life was, probably Bill Clinton. That's not saying a lot. Bill Clinton wasn't a great president. But his welfare reform was actually really good for the middle class and to lower the amount of people on welfare. NAFTA sucked, and most of whatever else he did sucked. Second place is probably the first term of Bush Jr., if we forget about the second term, because his first term was good, or Obama. But Obama was a lot more showmanship than anything actually happening, and the Medicare reforms never really went far enough to make what he wanted to do make sense, and what we're left with the Affordable Care Act isn't that great. So yeah, I mean, we haven't had good leadership since I've been alive, at least. That's for sure. When you're trying to think of the best and worst presidents in my day, they're all kind of crap. But all of this tangent to say this song is bad, it's not funny, I'm annoyed, and I'm trying to find some sort of interest in it by making political commentary on some of the things they're saying. That's where we're at.
The Lib's political climate's getting cold and stormy. Of course, these snowflakes want to believe in global warming.
Why would a snowflake want to believe in global warming, though? Wouldn't that be... I mean, if they wanted to scare themselves. I don't know if that bar really works. They're saying they're snowflakes so they melt. Wouldn't that mean that global warming's real? If snowflakes are afraid of it getting warmer? Wouldn't that mean what they're saying is true? I mean, climate change and human impact on that climate change is real. Not really disputable. It might not be as extreme as some people will make it out to be, but denying it exists and that humans have a role in it is just You know, people also say the earth is flat. Just because you're fucking stupid doesn't mean anyone else has to pay you any mind.
Me, I know you're always this close to getting cancelled, but the only thing getting stormy ends with Daniels. Listen close, Democrats, I know this
What's wrong with banging a porn star?
is tough, but saying I'm not Donald Trump won't be enough.
But it was enough. It was enough. That's what happens when you portray yourself as an authoritarian dictator dickhead. It's amazing how many people don't want to vote for you. Like if you the thing about portraying yourself very authoritarian and dictatorship-like, which Trump did, objectively speaking, that's how he portrays himself. It's my way or the highway. I'm in charge. Fuck everyone else. If you're gonna do that, then it only works when everybody, in a democracy anyway, it only works when everybody else is okay with you being in charge. Most people weren't okay with him being in charge. I mean, he didn't even get the popular vote the first time against Hillary, and Hillary's one of the least popular people ever. That should tell you something. Most people didn't want him in control. Now, the results of his actual actions were usually kind of decent, but the dude's a fucking narcissistic POS in public. You have to play the public role a little differently than that to get elected and reelected. It's amazing he got elected in the first place. Not surprising he didn't get reelected. I mean, it was a little surprising in some ways because of how crap of a candidate Biden is. But it just goes to show, if you just fake a smile and pretend that you're not trying to take over the world, then it's easier to get elected as a completely incompetent and obviously racist and senile old man than it is to be elected as a dude who's just an asshole. Food for thought. If you're a Trump supporter, maybe just be more mad at Trump for doing literally nothing to be appealing to anyone who already didn't just agree with everything he said. It's not a good strategy.
Look, John, your critiques are never this legitimate, but we have a national emergency. A president's an idiot. Just take a look at every promise that he's stalled. He can't finish anything. I mean, the writing's on the wall.
Get her out of here.
La, la, la. Trump and I both love money, y'all. La, la, la. Other than that, there's nothing, huh?
This might be the worst conceptualization of what Kanye West sounds like that I've ever heard.
Dog, was you saying Russians? You can't tell me nothing. Collusion, the only way that Trump wins. You can't tell me nothing.
Look at my African American over here.
Huge fan. Nice to meet you, Mr. Snoop. I think you'll be.
That was the first funny thing in this whole thing, is him thinking he's Snoop Dogg. Halfway through, we got something entertaining and funny and something that I'm assuming is trying to be comedy. I'm not too sure at this point if it's trying to be comedy anymore. I really don't know what it's trying to be.
A great addition to the group. That MAGA hat looks great, and you were nice on the mic. Proves Trump supporters aren't only whites from the right.
How is that friendship even a thing? I bet Trump got jealous when Kanye said Jesus is king. Trump did a 180, was a Democrat on the low. We cover the full 360 like Anderson's show.
Trump always said if he would run for president, it'd be as a Republican because they're stupid and easy to manipulate. And that was back when he was a Democrat. Trump politically has always been pretty moderate, so I actually agree with a lot of Trump's politics. I don't agree with his methods, and I think he's a piece of shit. And I didn't vote for him either time. I didn't vote for the Democrat running against him. I voted for third parties both elections. You know, politically, he's kind of moderate. He's got that Bill Clinton era Democrat energy, which is very different Democrat to today's Democrat. And I do believe that he meant it when he said he would run as a Republican because he felt that party was easier to manipulate. And he was absolutely right. I mean, look at the people who worship him, basically. That wouldn't have worked the same way on Democrats. Democrats will throw votes at someone who says that, I feel your pain, Bill Clinton shout out, or someone who claims that they're going to help them. The gullibility of Democrats is different. To trick a Democrat, you just promise them crap. To trick a Republican, you don't even have to promise them anything. You just gotta, like, rile up the troops with some stupid tropes, which is a lot easier to get away with than actually thinking of, policies that under some scrutiny could look like they could make sense and work. Even if you have no plan on actually enacting these policies, to try to win based on policies and promises for people to look forward to, you have to have some sort of fleshed out idea of what those policies are and how they would work. Trump didn't have to do that. He didn't have to have any policies fleshed out. He just said, I'm building a wall because those damn Mexicans coming over. How are you doing it? Mexico will pay for it. Yeehaw! And everyone voted for him. You couldn't do that as a Democratic candidate. And so I think he was right. I think it shows. And he almost got elected twice, basically on the back of the stupidity of the Republican Party. Now, this doesn't give the Democrats a pass, but the Republican Party is dumber. If you identify as Republican, you are less intelligent than someone who identifies as Democratic, statistically speaking, both in your educational background, IQ outputs, as well as just, any other measure that we have for any type of intelligence, logic-based, skill-based success in life, etc. Democrats are smarter. Sorry about you, Republicans watching this. That's why there's more Republicans on welfare and more Republicans who are poor, because intelligence has a great correlation to success in life and the amount of money you have. Now, Democrats, on the other hand, for their horridness, they are the most hypocritical people ever. And for all their intelligence, they don't seem to have as much wisdom as a lot of Republicans. There's no wisdom in the Democratic Party. Everything's illogical, contradictory, and hypocritical. And honestly, I prefer dealing with Republicans over Democrats as people. I like moderates the best. People who aren't really hard Republican or Democrat. They're usually the best people. But if I have to choose between someone who's indoctrinated right or indoctrinated left, I'm going to deal with the right 10 times out of 10, because they're more willing to have normal conversations. They're usually a bit more open-minded, ironically enough. They're easier to keep in check because they're not that smart. Whereas Democrats, they'll say one thing and do the opposite and see nothing wrong with it, and they're just obnoxious to deal with, and they're just generally unpleasant people and unfun people to be around. Rant over. Both political sides suck, but I'd rather befriend a Republican. That's the moral.
This is Anderson Cooper here in Middle America, where politics has stirred up a little hysteria.
Well, I'm also reporting from the heart of the nation, where Trump is strong as ever with the farmers and tradesmen.
There's a difference between Trump and the laboring classes. Can you guess, Tucker? It's paying their taxes.
But how are Democrats gonna...
Yay, an almost chuckle moment.
...to help their lives? By making express lanes for welfare lines? They're tired of their taxes go...
Yeah, I like how Republicans always talk about welfare, yet there's more Republicans who are actively on welfare than Democrats. And historically, the Democratic Party's usually been the one that shrunk the amount of people on welfare. Bill Clinton famously put a bunch of tax dollars into welfare. But the reason he put it into it was to make the checks and balances for welfare eligibility a lot more stringent and practical. Ways for actual rehabilitation. George Bush Jr. came in and said, I'm going to lower welfare taxes. And everyone got really happy. But when he did that, it ended up actually over time increasing the budget of welfare because his tax cuts took away the funds that were used to filter who could or couldn't get on welfare and how we transition people off of welfare. So, the Republicans are always yelling about those damn freeloaders on welfare, even though there's more Republicans on welfare than Democrats by a large, large margin. And historically, presidentially, in recent history, the Democrats have done more to get people off of welfare than the Republicans have. Go figure.
Going to support immigration and losing all their jobs to the border invasion.
What's Trump's contribution? Literal torture. Half the farmers are losing their kids at the border. With Latino children, he's practicing separatism. With his own children, he's practicing nepotism.
Nepotism? Nuh-uh. What about Hunter Biden? My dad's a self-made man, just like I am.
Yeah. I like the grabbing the money.
Keep to the facts.
Whoa.
The team is intact.
Whoa.
Trumps are in the office. We gon' keep it like that, bro.
Awful quiet there, Melania. Blink twice if you need to be saved. Let's hear from some electable candidates.
It's sad to see a broken promise coming from the Oval Office. If this were the apprentice, Trump would have been voted off it. You want a real president? No malarkey.
He's way too fluid with his speech here.
Beat Trump like a drum and overcome this oligarchy.
Look, it doesn't take a college degree to get this picture. The working class is dying while the rich get richer. What we need now is...
Listen, Bernie, I'll listen to what you say as soon as you stop being a millionaire. I'll try to take you more seriously. Until then, you're just a crotchety old man to me.
Bipartisan support, not billionaires trying to buy partisan support.
Trump blew it with China, made lots of mistakes. Those losses of trades are gonna cost him this race.
Look, I want to like Ted Cruz, I really do. But every time he does something good, he turns around and does like 9 things that are just fucking the biggest scumbag move ever.
He calls me Lying Ted, but he does the lion's portion.
Cruz, you're on!
Oh, Trump, I endorse him.
Ted, get the hell out of my feed.
That's
What?
We agreed?
Well, at least they both don't like Ted.
Bernie's a socialist pigeon. Warren has no chance of winning. Obama was awful and Joe is only his minion.
Obama wasn't that bad, Republicans.
So Trump's a bad guy, that's your only position. I thought all you snowflakes were supposed to be different.
It seems you're confused, Sean, so here's a list. Illegitimate businesses, immigrants, little kids, illiterate, sexist, racist taxes, Twitter fits, Russia impeachment. Did I mention Russia? You get the gist.
The liberals love mentioning Russia. Russia's why they win the election. Russia's why they lose the election. Russia's why gas is expensive because Ukraine. If I hear the Democrats try to scapegoat Russia one more time, I swear, bro, it's tired. If we get nuked from Russia, it's the Democrats' fault because, boy, they blame everything on Russia. They'll get a fucking hangnail and be like, "Oh, the damn Russians are at it again." It's embarrassing. Stop blaming everything on the second largest nuclear power in the world, maybe? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a bad idea to blame everything on a country that could literally destroy the world if they were in a bad mood. Not that we couldn't, but I don't think the objective is to see who could destroy the world better or faster. Maybe just, don't let the world get destroyed. So how about you stop blaming Russia for everything? Especially since every time you blame Russia, it turns out Russia wasn't the problem. Maybe chill on all that shit. It's all documented and recorded. Just saying.
There are many factors your little list won't show, like how the hell your party will ever get those votes. You'd have nothing to talk about if Trump did go, though. You could quit your show. Quid pro quo.
Trump wants to be like me. He should start with...
Why do we have Arnold now? I like that they made Arnold purple since he's kind of somewhere in the middle. He was a Republican governor in California, but he's always been quite Democratic in a lot of his views. Unfortunately, he wasn't born in the U.S., so he could never be president, but he's the best governor California's had in my lifetime. I lived in California for a great deal of time. Unfortunately, for the latter half of his career as governor, he basically didn't get to make any decisions. It was the very corrupt other leaders in California that were pulling all the strings, and it became more and more obvious that what Arnold said was not what would happen. And, that's how it is in California. But he did his best for a while before they finally just beat him into submission.
His retirement. We've got to save the world, and it starts with the environment. I left Hollywood to help clean up the country, so if I have to, I'll be back defeating D2020.
Yeezy 2024, y'all. Huh?
Right. People, please vote.
Vote why?
Dog is coated
I don't understand the please vote thing. All you did was present that every candidate sucks, so please vote for one of them. If you want to get people to vote and you want to get people to fix the problems, then you best just ignore these clowns that are running as Republicans or Democrats and vote for anything else. A lot of people are like, oh, that's a wasted vote. No, voting Republican or Democrat is the only wasted vote because you're going to get the same results. If you think that the Democratic or the Republican candidate is truly better than the other one in any way that's really significant, then you're completely lost and stupid. The only power that people have in the US is in voting. So the only way to give yourself power is to vote against what they expect you to vote for. And if everybody who says they don't like either candidate, they're just voting for the lesser of two evils, voted third party, then the third party would win by a landslide. So the only stupid thing happening is people saying that a third party's a wasted vote. You saying that is the dumbest thing that you could do as an American. And the country, any problems you see in the country, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, every problem in this country is your fault because you vote Republican or Democrat. And I will stand by that without a shadow of reasonable doubt. The problems that we face are 100% your fault. If you voted for a Democratic or a Republican president or Democratic or Republican leadership in your local elections, everything that's happening is your fault and you deserve it. Until we explore again, I'll see you next time.